Hello and welcome back, everyone, to the Overwatch All-Stars Brawl number 4, presented by Star Esports. Today, we got the second half of a double elimination tournament dedicated to our Overwatch 3 community. Today, we are going to be watching Astray and plus Mafia in match number 14 of the main bracket. For your casting entertainment, I am Sir Waltham, and joined to me on the other side of this imaginary caster's desk is going to be Shy Guy.
I think if we get anything like we got in our first match of the night, we are in for a real treat. That was one of the most entertaining series of Overwatch that I've gotten to see in quite a while, with, of course, Citizens coming out on top over Team 2. But now, let's turn our attention, as you said, to Astray and plus Mafia. Both of these teams have had really good runs through the tournament up to this point. I don't believe that either team has dropped, or actually Astray dropped one map in their first round series against Project Tribunes, but since then it's been clean sweeps across the board for both of these teams up to this point.
Yeah, and definitely going to be looking to see these two teams, well, one of these two teams continue their streak on the main bracket to go up against Citizens. And one of these teams, unfortunately, going to be dropping down into the losers bracket. Not the end for either of these teams should they lose, but certainly going to be heading into the more intense end of the tournament as we continue along. Speaking of continuing along, we will be going ahead and moving on to Eichenwald to start. Now, Shy Guy, this is the first time in a while we've seen Eichenwald be our starting map. How do you feel about that?
I like it. I mean, it's a little bit of a change of pace. I mean, almost always we're starting out on control maps. That's kind of the standard in Overwatch across the board, but we get to switch things up, and to me, at least, it gives us an opportunity to get a little bit better feel for how these teams want to play, because control always a little bit of an outlier in terms of the style that it brings to play. It doesn't operate in the same way that any other map type does, and so I think that Eichenwald is going to be a very good place for us to kick the night off.
Yeah, as well, I think Eichenwald has the option to not necessarily host the most standard composition. I mean, certainly you do see the Hanzo Mei, but if last game is anything to go off of, there are certainly other comps that can at least find some sort of value here, so it might give us a good idea of how these teams are looking to play against each other in those maps where they have that level of freedom. But we are just waiting for a brief moment while everybody gets settled into the lobby. In the meantime, we would like to remind you guys that plus Mafia going to be starting off on the attack, meaning they will be on the right in red. Similarly, Astray going to be on the left in blue, meaning that they will be defending the start.
Yes, indeed they will be, and this is going to be a fun series. I think this is both of these teams' first appearance in the All-Star Brawl, but Astray a little bit familiar just from their time in other events for sure. They recently won the All-Star Trials here at Star Esports, so we know that this is a very talented team, but now we're really getting to see them go up against the best of the best in Tier 3.
Yeah, and best of the best, when you say those words, it piques my interest, certainly. It piques my interest, certainly, in terms of casting. Again, we are just waiting on those few last people to get locked in to get readied up, but overall, Shy Guy, we mentioned it a little bit before. I believe it was plus Mafia who has not dropped a single map in the Overwatch All-Stars Brawl number 4 quite yet. Now, yeah, looking back at the status, they went 0-3 against Atlas, 0-3 against Celtic Cross. Do you think that it's that they'll be able to manage it here against Astray, or do you think Astray's going to put up more of a fight?
I think this is going to be a much tougher task in that regard. Getting a 3-0 at this point in the tournament would be really, really impressive, especially against a team like Astray. I mean, and when you look on the other side of things, the two teams that they were able to sweep so far have kind of quickly bowed out of the tournament after those sweeps. So, well, maybe not the toughest competition that plus Mafia has had to face so far up to this point, but Astray looking to change that for sure here tonight. They've been, you know, definitely grinding for quite a while in tier 3, and they've definitely had some success playing in a variety of tournaments. I mean, I mentioned the All-Star Trials. They did well in the Tidal Esports tournament, you know, about a month or so back, and they've really kind of been lighting the world on fire in a lot of ways. So I'm excited to see them once again here. But we do have a new face on the side of Astray. They did recently bid adieu to Chinese Food, who made his way over to another team. Old Man Strength got picked up, and so now Mercedes is coming in to play the DPS for Astray. We'll see how well he can pair alongside Rory. I'm sure that will still be a deadly duo, but this will be at least my first taste of getting to see Mercedes in the server.
Yeah, absolutely, as will it be mine. We're going to be hopping into Eichenwald finally after a little bit of deliberation from the teams. We're going to be popping right in, and only about 30 seconds before those team rosters unlock. And Shy Guy, I know I asked a little bit before, or I asked for hints about it a little bit before, but what do you expect?
You know, you definitely think that the tank line is probably going to continue to be that Orisa Sigma that we've seen so much of throughout this tournament. The DPS is really where things kind of get dictated. Do you want to run the Hanzo Mei, which is kind of, I would say, been like the most stock standard approach to the meta right now, or do you want to go for something like a Pharah? We saw that pick be very prevalent earlier in our series earlier tonight, and both teams picking it here on Eichenwald. And indeed, it seems like that just might be the case once again.
Yeah, and so far, yeah, we're seeing the Pharah come online, at least for the side of the defense so far. Not sure if Plus Mafia is going to decide to roll out with it, although it certainly seems like they're gearing up for it. They have that Mercy and the Pharah both locked in, lining up in that upper area. I'm excited to see if this Zarya is actually going to get play. It doesn't look like it will. Nathan has duped me this time.
No, indeed he has, and you know, it's just going to be the mirror comps here from both teams with the Pharahs in play. So we'll see who's going to get the better of that aerial duel between Tryhard and Mercedes. Just trading some shots right now. No one able to land the killing blow.
Yeah, no kills coming in just yet. The rotations being played around this tower quite aggressively. The halt coming in from Nathan, not really going to be landing onto anything. No accretion rock combo to be had there. Arrow taking down Tryhard after a quick follow-up from a direct impact from Mercedes. Mercedes already seeming to show a little bit of their value here. Rory taking down Simplistic, meaning that there will be no Baptiste healing. Cilia gonna have to be spreading their attention a lot more without that other healer in tow. It's going to be most of the main tanks trying to buy this space onto point for the offense. As we can see, though, however, it looks like Zemrit trying to take a little bit of another angle, trying to get a little bit sneaky with it, a little bit crafty, if you will. Tryhard taking down Rory, meaning that Hanzo will now no longer be on the defensive side. And the tanks are doing a really good job at making this fight last a long time, but so far they are not being explosive enough on the defensive end to really get any kills going here. The immortality field going down from Simplistic, although again, the kills don't seem to be coming in fast enough, but this might change as the Baptiste window comes in from Arrow, and not really seeming to find too much value with it, not able to play those angles as aggressively as you might like. The Dragons coming in from the back line with the Hanzo, going to be taking down Zemrit. Rory finally finds some success with the hero, taking down Simplistic as well. That Baptiste has had a tough time as of late. Both Baptistes getting brought back up by Switch and Scylla on those Mercies, and with that, it looks like finally the side of Plus Mafia able to pull ahead in the terms of kills aspect, leaning up just a little bit here, and the stall going to continue to happen, but not going to be successful.
It's the slow and steady approach there from Plus Mafia that played that so patiently. After losing a couple members early on, they're able to swing things back in their favor and win out the slow fight. A slight spawn advantage for the attackers there on Eichenwald comes to help them out a little bit, and now they get the payload underway. They get into the second section of the map as once again the Pharahs playing a big role, trying to find the opening for their teams with those aerial fights.
Yeah, both Ori's going to be dropping that supercharger. A lot of damage has the potential to come in. Zemrit going to find some value again with those dragons. Those dragons love being successful here. Crimson going to be taken down by Nathan, who is dangerously low, but will be topped up by their supports. Going to be a crushing first fight win here on Streets Face.
And that, I mean, that Dragon Strike kill is really all about the halt that comes through for Nathan. He's able to set up the pick for Zimrit, and now they get this Hanzo up on the high ground. They've got the Pharah spamming the choke points. This is exactly where you want to be for Plus Mafia.
Yeah, and they're going to continue this aggression, coming in with a grab flux, taking down Switch with a little bit of follow-up. Tryhard going to be using the Rocket Barrage to take down Crimson, will be dropped by Mercedes themselves, but will not be enough to stop this offense from moving forward on the second.
That is exactly how you want to play this. They get that first fight win on point B, and they keep the momentum going. They drop the ultimates that they need to, but they don't necessarily overcommit. They don't have to use that amp matrix. They don't have to build up and use that Valkyrie. So they get to come into this with some more tools at their disposal to try and keep this push going.
Yeah, Nathan and Aspect not quite able to coordinate on the accretion grab quite yet. Looks like they try to find a little bit more success that time around. The halt coming in from Crimson right into the window of the attacking team. The Dragons once again coming in. This time it's going to be from the side of Zemrit. It's going to be from both sides. Rory taking advantage of the halt once again. Linathan as well going to be falling. And with that, a double kill off the back of those Dragons leads the defense to be a little bit more aggressive here. We see Aspect getting so close to dead by Mercedes. It looks like they're going to just stagger him out as much as possible.
They do a great job there of responding and then using their amplification matrix to kind of counter out the one, or sorry, to set up the kills there, switch the one to open things up in that fight. And now a little bit of stabilization here for Astray as they set up for this defense. Now they get to kind of spam through these choke points. They've got Rari continuing to be a menace on the Hanzo, but the high ground rotation is solid here from Plus Mafia, forces them into a bit of an awkward spot.
Yeah, and Astray going to try to separate the team with the Maywall. Not going to be finding much success as it gets broken down rather quickly. And it didn't look like the Grab Flux was able to find too much value coming in from the side of Train Cloud. The Supercharger coming out, though. Train Cloud taking down Aspect means they won't be able to build up that Grab Flux coming in. And we're seeing this May on the attacking team try hard, try to play from a distance, but that makes the walls all that more difficult to get. They do get a wall separating the Hanzo and Zenyatta from the rest of their team. Tryhard gets dropped by a sonar arrow from Rari. That is going to make that May damn near ineffective if they are dead. Rari also taking down Nathan. And with this is, again, the members of the offense cut on the back, but Plus Mafia not quite able to get the cart moving.
And it was a good start there for Plus Mafia. They got Aspect and Zemrit on the flank a little bit there, at least on the off angle. But as soon as that Sigma goes down, it's so hard for the Hanzo to stick around, and eventually the DPS for Plus Mafia will fall. They have to back off, try this one again, but they're going to come in here with quite a few ultimates in the bank, the Dragons, the Grab Flux of their own, ready to go.
Yeah, we can see Zemrit lining up in that side room, might be trying to set up for that Dragon Strike to come through. And the window going to be coming up. Train Cloud, however, getting two. That includes Zemrit, who's in the middle of firing that dragon. Going to be losing that ult. That is costly for the offense. They certainly will not be happy about that one. Aspect falls, and it looks like it's near over for this push on the offense.
A beautiful use of the amp matrix there for Arrow, just kind of keeps the rest of Plus Mafia from pushing in to try and capitalize on Aspect's Grab Flux. They can't go straight into the face of all that damage, so they aren't able to find the kills, and they'll have to reset once again. This third point defense so far is locked tight for Astray.
Yeah, it has been a struggle on the side of Plus Mafia to really get through here. They're going to be switching on to Zemrit's Junkrat, seeing if they can find more value with that, more shield break perhaps. The Transcendence coming out from Simplistic in response to the Dragons from Rari, meaning it won't be available for this. Oh, the May Blizzard actually gets eaten. Tryhard throws it in. Train Cloud ready with the kinetic grasp. Train Cloud then responds with their own ult, saying, I can do it better, getting 2 kills off the back of it, make it a third when Simplistic drops, and that's another defensive hold.
And it's a little bit unfortunate there for Astray. Switch with the quick reaction. He hears the voice line from the Blizzard, immediately drops his Transcendence. Probably not necessary in that fight, but that's just a kind of getting punished for his quick thinking and his ability to react there, as they won't have that big survivability tool.
Yeah, and both of the tank shields for the offense getting dangerously low now. We're seeing the supercharger come out from Crimson, able to apply so much more damage. It's going to make it so much harder for the offense to push in. And with both their DPSs down, it's not looking great. The Blizzard's going to be dropping right on the point for the defense. Mercedes locking it down. It doesn't look like there's going to be anybody able to touch. With that, it's not even going to go into overtime. Round 1 complete. The cart barely poking past second.
All right, a little bit of a shaky start there for Astray through the first 2 points, but they buckle down when it comes to that final section of the map, and they're able to get the stop they were looking for. And here on Eichenwald, that is not a bad thing. As long as they can get through the first 2 points, they'll have a very good shot of winning this. But we'll not put the cart before the horse here.
Yeah, I think that is very wise. We do have a lot more Overwatch to play witness to here. And about 15 seconds, we're going to see those rosters unlock. Very excited to see what we're going to be having onto the field. I'm hoping, as I usually am, that we're going to be seeing some Pharah. Maybe some... I love seeing the Baptistes that are able to get some real oppression onto those Pharahs. So I'm hoping we're going to see that as well. We're definitely going to see the BAP, but how much they have focused on the Pharah is up for question.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it does look like the Pharah are going to be there once again for Tryhard. Maybe not this time around on the attack for Astray, but they've still got plenty of time to make that swap if they so choose. Instead, though, just the double projectile heroes here with the May Hunts. And now, let's see. Any swaps going to come through? It doesn't look like it. I think this is what they're going to roll with indeed for Astray. Rory was excellent on that Hanzo, and Mercedes going to break out the May as well here.
Yeah, Mercedes going to be taking their hand up at May. Tryhard on the defense, ready to just rain down some more rockets, ready to put that oppression down from the sky. They're going to be focusing down onto this choke point right in the center. The halt coming in. Tryhard trying very hard to not get locked down as well. And again, we're seeing these teams play very sternly around this giant watchtower, this giant, I guess it's more of a bell tower kind of a structure set up here. And Tryhard getting focused on by a couple May crystals, May icicles. You definitely don't like to see that happen if you're on the side of that Pharah. Nobody really dropping yet this early into the fight. We're still seeing just the defense hold out, retreat back to point, and Rory actually going to be taking down Tryhard. Although the body will drop in an area that Scylla is able to res them up, but not soon enough, as Aspect is soon going to be dropping, and the numbers might start collapsing here from the side of the defense if they're not able to pick something up.
Yeah, the res was able to come through onto Tryhard, but Astray so good at punishing in that instance. They know they don't have to worry about the pressure from the Pharah. They know they don't have to worry about the healing from the Mercy, so they charge on in. They get a couple picks in the meantime, and at that point, the fight is really done and dusted.
Yeah, and 5 minutes on the clock to start pushing through the streets phase. Not going to be the worst spot for Astray. They're going to be even trying to immediately contest this high ground. It looks like, at least for a moment, not letting the offense, or the defense, excuse me, from Plus Mafia get settled up as quickly as they might like. As well, just get a little bit more information as to what their plan might overall be. It's eventually going to be Plus Mafia dropping down to hold this corner. However, their shield's not able to find too much. The Dragon's going to be coming in rather quickly. The Maywall actually lifting up a few members of the attacking team, preventing them from taking full damage of that Dragon. The Immortality Field is going to be coming out from Scylla as well, trying to keep people up. Not going to be finding too much value. The Blizzard coming out, placed a little bit in front of Cart, will lock down Tryhard, and because of that, Mercedes going to finish them up with an Icicle. Nathan also going to be locked down, taken down by that May, and despite how long this fight took to really get going, it looks like it's going to go in favor of the offense.
Yeah, they keep up the momentum here on Eichenwald, but there is going to be an opportunity for the recontest here from Plus Mafia, and they'll have quite an arsenal to do it with. The Grav Flux, the Supercharger, and the Ant Matrix is ready to go.
Yeah, we're going to hear that Supercharger get dropped immediately by Crimson. Use it to focus down Nathan. The Grav Flux trying to come in from the Sigma, gets pulled out of the Immortality Field range, and from there, that's all she wrote. That's going to be second point, and they do not have long to take it here, Shy Guy.
Yeah, and the difference maker there is just the Transcendence ult charge switch gets his online just in time. Simplistic, not quite there to be able to save his team in that fight. Astray know it, and they get aggressive with that ultimate.
Yeah, and it looks like they're not even going to be able to contest Cart. Nobody's going to be able to get there. There's Zenyatta trying to make it with the Transcendence. Not going to be the case, however. Astray handing the side of Plus Mafia their first loss in this tournament. Their first map loss, I should say.
Indeed they do. So Plus Mafia now find themselves in a position that they have yet to occupy so far. They're going to be the ones picking the map. They're going to be the ones on the back foot so far here tonight. And Astray coming out looking very strong in this series. They are really on point right now. Rari firing on all cylinders on that Hanzo, really working well with his team, and they roll through Eichenwald.
Yeah, rolling through Eichenwald is a very appropriate way to say it. They had a bunch of time on the time bank, and although Plus Mafia seemed to have a pretty good first point, it did not seem like they were quite able to hold out throughout the rest of the map. I think they might be looking for a shift in momentum moving forward. They might need to change some mindsets up if they really want to start taking the upper hand over Astray.
Indeed, and we'll now give them the opportunity to at least kind of dictate the map going forward, so they have a chance to perhaps take themselves a little bit more comfortable for their choices and for their style of play. So we'll just have to see what that choice is gonna be. Based on the first map, it's hard to really say what their preference is in terms of kind of the compositions that they want to play. So we'll just give them a little bit of time to figure that one out.
Yeah, of course, we do know that we won't be playing on Kings Row or Hollywood, as another hybrid map had just been played. No back-to-back of the same map type. Otherwise, I imagine we just see 3 control point maps in the first 3 games of the series, as it seems to be a pretty popular one. I'm surprised we did not start off on one, Shy Guy.
Yeah, indeed, and maybe that might be where we're headed, but where we won't be headed is going to be Volskaya as Astray. Ban that one out. They don't want to be finding themselves in the frozen wilds of Russia. So we are indeed going to be getting that control map. Didn't get to start off there, but Oasis is up next.
Yes, some good things come to those who wait, and Oasis, a pretty good thing. I think there's a lot of variety here. We also do have the option for the Pharah play coming out again as well. Not sure if the teams will be locking down into that, if they necessarily have pocket plans to use those Pharahs, but I think this is a good map to kind of see where they lie in terms of their usage with her.
Yeah, we've already seen both Mercedes and Tryhard kind of dip their toe in those waters, so would not be a surprise at all to see the Pharah come through on either City Center or Gardens here on Oasis. University, not so friendly for Pharahs, but definitely a map where that could come into play. So we are going to be seeing a quick sub come through for the side of Plus Mafia. It's going to be Skyward making his way in for Simplistic. The support change up coming through here.
Yeah, an interesting support change up. Not sure if there is a reason that they are going to be bringing in Skyward over Simplistic here. If it's just a hero picks, a hero selection preference, or maybe they just felt like Simplistic wasn't doing what they think Skyward will be able to achieve a little bit better. However, we are going to be getting the readies from both these teams, which means we're rolling on to Oasis.
Yeah, if I had to guess, it's probably because maybe Skyward might be kind of a Lucio specialist, or like more adept on the Lucio, as we had to control that pick always kind of becomes a bit more powerful, I would say, just across the board in general. So we'll see if that comes to fruition as we kick it off on City Center. And if we're going to see the Pharah on this map, this is probably the place for it.
Yeah, I would certainly expect so, which means we'd also be seeing some Mercies, maybe some BAPs, but it looks like actually neither team going to be opting for the BAP at the start at the switch. Switch, to be a matter of fact, going to be on the Ana, and we're going to be seeing Skyward onto that Moira. Maybe that's what we were. Maybe that's what Skyward goes in for. Maybe they have that Moira preference or that Moira um, proficiency that enables them to play in a little bit more different of a capacity than their prior sub in. Either way, we're going to be seeing the teams roll here in just a moment. Looking like a dive look from Astray.
Yeah, I mean, kind of divey looks from both sides, really. You got the wrecking balls, the diva versus the Winston, aspect, probably on that hero in anticipation of a Pharah on the other side. Not going to be happening here, as the Tracer Sombra combo here for the side of Astray is very interesting.
Yeah, and Switch getting killed very early. The dive by Nathan as well as Zemrit there to kill that support. However, it will be Train Cloud doing their best to hunt down everybody else on point. And right now it's a little bit of a brawl, as brawly as we see Dive get anyway. And Zemrit going to be getting a hack from the Sombra played by Mercedes, and really just focused down. Arrow going to be getting the final kill with the boop. And actually a little bit of a pause here. It looks like there may have been a disconnect, Shy Guy.
Yeah, and that is a little unfortunate in this fight. We've still got, this one is like completely up in the air at this point. A 3v3 taking place on the point, and indeed it was Train Cloud who fell out of the server in that case. The wrecking ball out of the picture here for Astray for the time being, but we'll do our best to get him back in here and get underway once again.
Yeah, a little bit of a bittersweet coming in that it was Train Cloud who ended up having some connection issues. They do end up losing a lot of ult charge, which if you're paying attention to the kill feed, they were showing up quite a bit for the blue side, but they're on the wrecking ball, so they'll be able to get back certainly in the blink of an eye. So you kind of have to take your losses there. Overall, it's looking to be like a slightly in favor, if I had to say, of Astray, I believe.
Yeah, they've got 4 members kind of either on or around the point right now, but you do have both of those tanks, 4 plus Mafia, still in the fight in there together. So there's definitely potential for them to come out of this pause and turn this one on its head. I don't think that necessarily this fight is really going to be over anytime soon. Neither team really interested in backing off or giving up on this one just yet.
Yeah, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of ults built up throughout this fight. Mercedes already a fair away through to the EMP without the point having even been flipped. Similarly, we got Skyward, Aspect, also hovering around that 60-70%. Switch, I believe, may have just used the Coalescence, if my memory is correct.
No, they actually just made the swap over to the Moira. They were on the Ana to start out, got dove on immediately, realized that's probably not going to be the easiest hero to play when you've got this much kind of mobility on the side of Astray, this much pressure, this much mobility on the side of Plus Mafia, this much pressure coming your way. Ana going to have a hard time staying alive, so he wants a little bit more survivability, and now he'll be back in the fight as Moira for the first time.
That is right. I completely forgot about the dive going on to Switch earlier. Nathan and Zemrit both really capitalizing upon that opportunity. It did not look like the nade or sleep dart was able to land. And if you don't land those abilities as Ana, you're going to have a tough time against those dive characters, let alone from the fact that they're fast enough to dodge them in general.
Yeah, I mean, this is really a tough kind of meta to play Ana in generally right now, but when the dive is coming for you, you really don't have a whole lot of tools to keep yourselves alive, especially when you look at the comp that Astray was running. They don't have a lot of peel in their arsenal. You don't have a diva in the back line to kind of give you a defense matrix. The Winston, the Wrecking Ball, not the best at keeping their supports alive.
Yeah, and it looks like despite our best attempts, Train Cloud still having some issues, was able to join the game for a brief moment, immediately left. It looks like it might be some connectivity issues. Not quite sure. It's sad. We hear from the team that the internet is having some issues there, and I think we've all been there. We've all had those internet frustrations. So I certainly send my condolences. to Train Cloud.
Yeah, he's getting some advice from Switch that he can't really see. Turn it off and back on again. That always seems to work for me, but we'll just have to see if we can get him back in here. I'm not sure if Astray has anyone that they can really sub in on the tank role specifically. They do have Shadow Jr. sitting on the bench, but he's a flex DPS support. So the one role that he doesn't seem to play is the one that they might just need.
Yeah, it looks like right now anybody will do for the team right now. They are in match chat just trying to they're just trying to get anybody to fit in. They don't want to run this clock down. They don't want to burn off any of the time they have currently. So they're really looking to get Train Cloud back in as soon as possible. It sounds like they're hopping in eventually. It's just the usual issues of getting connected and always having to deal with the ISP service providers.
Yeah, this is always, this is just the reality of online tournaments here in Overwatch. You're always, one disconnect away from being stalled out here, or if you're Astray, maybe one disconnect from being down your tank player. But Train Cloud back in the server, hopefully for good this time, as we're just waiting on the ready checks from both teams to try and get back underway here.
Yeah, we are going to give this another shot here. So as we see Train Cloud, we are just going to be waiting for the teams to get ready. We're going to be receiving the ready from both sides, and I imagine the pause will be finally ended here in just a moment. As we go, the fight is going to be continuing. Hit like a brick right back into it. Skyward actually going to be taken down by Mercedes. Aspect hacked, meaning no Diva Matrix, no boosters available. It doesn't matter how quick the cooldown is for those Diva boosters now. If you're hacked, you can't use them either way. Aspect so lit, going to be focused down by Rory, and then immediately hopping in the Diva, or the EMP going to be coming in, only lands on the tryhard, who gets immediately focused down by Rory, and the point going to be flipping over to Astray.
They are able to close out that first fight despite losing Train Cloud to the disconnect. So now he'll be back to work trying to build up to those mines once again. And now for Astray, you really get to kind of set up this dive exactly as you want. You get to play the high grounds, you get to find the angles, and Rory finds his opposite number, takes down Zemret.
Yeah, Mercedes really doing good to get these hacks off, hacking Zemret, making them a sitting duck as far as Tracer can be anyway, to just be stuck in the water. And with this, a lot of ults going to be online, plus Mafia taking the low ground, not even attempting to go on high. And tryhard trying to get some hacks. Crimson actually going to be the one they lands it on. And in similar fashion, Skyward going to be hacked. Not quite focused down immediately, though. It's going to take a little bit before Switch gets the burn onto them. Scylla hopping onto this Brig. We've been seeing more and more Brig in these dive-style comps lately, and the kills coming in more and more for Plus Mafia. They're eventually going to be getting the flip over as soon as the kill goes onto this Lucio. He's hovering around in the mid-dome, and finally, arrow drops.
He buys a little bit of time, though, as now, I like the swaps that we're seeing come through. For the side of Plus Mafia, they get a Tracer of their own, or sorry, a Sombra of their own to start trying to lay in some of these hacks and try hard with a big impact through that fight. Aspect going to be able to take down the Sombra on the side of Astray, so they just have to back out.
Yeah, and now Plus Mafia can really get up there without having to worry about watching their backs. They're not going to have to worry about that EMP, or that hack coming in. The Hound Barrier going to be coming in from Arrow, though, giving a lot of life to the side of Astray. They're going to be really looking to push in here. Switch also popping that Coalescence. And a lot of ults not really able to find too much, however. Scylla using that rally as well. So many ults being invested to this fight. Crimson going to be the first to fall to an ult, however, Zemret taking them down with a pulse bomb. And from there, the kills just go all in favor of Plus Mafia as they continue to hold on to this point with a stranglehold.
And they're going to have Tryhard's EMP available for the next engagement, so that is the kind of ultimate that can win you a fight single-handedly. But Mercedes on the opposite side might have one of his own.
And we will certainly have to be seeing how they can use these ultimates moving forward. Train Cloud quite a ways away from those mines, but looking to be taking up some early positioning. However, was spotted out by Zemret, who's playing around that highway area. Sure you don't play in traffic. My Tracer friend This being said, Tryhard scouting out, looking for those hacks as well. And right now, not a lot of action taking place. The Wrecking Ball going to be hopping in. Train Cloud immediately gets stunned, however, with the shield bash coming in from Scylla. And with that, the EMP going to be hopped onto that Wrecking Ball and just the Wrecking Ball. Enough to focus them down, though. And on the contrary, a 4-man EMP coming in from the side of Mercedes. Not going to be enough to have the force to focus down, however, as the rest of their team does begin to fall. And with that, overtime is going to tick down. Plus Mafia in a really good spot here.
Yeah, an intelligent use of that EMP from Tryhard. It's not maybe kind of the biggest ult that you're looking for, that you kind of anticipate with the EMP, but it helps them get the crucial advantage they need to close out the final fight, and they take the lead here on Oasis.
Yeah, gotta be pretty happy about that if you're Plus Mafia, looking to start off a little bit better than you had on the last map. Definitely looking to get some points on that board. After Eichenwald, I think you're ready to wake up. I think you're ready to get back into the action, and that's exactly what they're going to be looking to do here again on Gardens.
And, Plus Mafia looks like they might just be sticking with that divey composition here on Gardens, but a complete swap up coming through for Astray. Rory picking up the McCree here, going to be trying to lay in those flashbangs to deal with Tryhard and Zimrit.
Yeah, they certainly will be. Again, going to be a little bit of a counter dive coming in here with the McCree from Rory. Nathan and Aspect still rocking those dive tanks. Mercedes getting hacked, doesn't have that ice form. However, the immortality field will bail them out as they get so dangerously focused down and jumped upon. Rory already dealing a ton of damage. It's really going to be up to Zemrit to play carefully around this McCree's flashbang. Rory seeming to just have that flashbang ready in the pocket. Nathan almost getting away. Switch going to hit him with the one final punch to claim their life. And with that, it looks like now Astray are going to be taking the advantage of the point.
And here you kind of see why the meta is the meta right now. It's so hard for this dive composition to really burst through all of the survivability that this composition for Astray has. With the Batiste, the immortality field, and all the healing that he's pumping out, the tanks are impossible to kill, and they were doing a great job of pocketing both Rory and Mercedes.
They certainly were, and they take their time. Rory setting up to just get a couple of nice headshots onto Skyward. The high noon going to be popped. Rory taking down Scylla, and with that, we're going to be seeing it looks like another hold coming in from Astray.
Easy fight win for them as Rory gets a couple of quick pickoffs. Now they get to settle in with his defense and build up towards the rest of their ultimates. They only have to use that Deadeye, which, not usually the most impactful ultimate right now, so nothing of value really lost there for Astray as they settle in on this defense.
Yeah, they're going to pop this window immediately on this high ground, really just force that rotation to have to be speedy from the side of Plus Mafia. And we're seeing Zemrit play very far away from the rest of their team, not able to find too many arrows into the bodies of the defending team right now. And with that, we're going to be seeing a pin go in from Nathan. Not quite able to find too much, and in fact will cost their lives for it. Tryhard getting brought dangerously low before going into Cryo Freeze. And with that, it doesn't look like they'll be able to find too much with their newfound health. And it's just going to be continued hold for the Team Astray.
Yeah, it was a good job by Plus Mafia to kind of force them off the high ground, but Crimson able to drop that supercharger and to keep the fight going. They lay in the damage necessary, and now they're one fight away from evening it up here on Oasis.
Yeah, that is all it will take. We're going to be hearing the window come out from Skyward. The Grav Flux in similar fashion coming out from Train Cloud. A lot of members getting brought down, and then off the back of that, the Blizzard coming out. Not many people frozen, though. It's just going to be Tryhard Mercedes then cleaning up onto Skyward. We heard that high noon held for quite a while as they take down Scylla. And with that, overtime is going to tick down, and without any progress, Astray is going to take the point here at Gardens.
Yeah, the Blizzard that Mercedes drops, it might not find that many kills during that fight or lock down too many members of Plus Mafia, but it split them up so drastically. It forced a couple of their members forward into the waiting arms of Astray. A few people had to kind of fall back or go in on an off angle, and they were not able to push in as six. So the disruption there from Mercedes really sets up that final fight beautifully for Astray.
Yeah, fantastic. And speaking of fantastic, I would like to give everybody in the audience a personal thanks. I've just been notified that we have passed 2,000 followers. That is incredible, guys. We love having you guys here. Love bringing it to you. Ready to bring you guys more fantastic Overwatch as we move on to Oasis University. Once again, much appreciated. We're going to be seeing Astray take an early position onto the point. The double shields with the Rhine Orisa seems to be run on both sides. The only difference, Rari and Zemrit on that Reaper Hanzo. Rari immediately taking advantage of the Reaper, though. Scylla going to be brought down by a couple of shots from the Hellfire shotguns. Crimson taking down Zemrit as well, who keeps trying to play these kind of weird off angles and dangerously close to falling into the pit. It seems like Mercedes is able to avoid it, and right now the point's going to be flipped once again for Astray to start.
Indeed it will be, and Roy just gets in on a nice flank. All eyes from Plus Mafia were just on the point. They thought they had the high ground position locked down, but Rory sneaks into the back line and gets that solo kill that they need to get the fight going in their favor, and they are off to an excellent start here on University.
Yeah, they certainly are on the advantageous position. Astray going to be looking to just hold this position. The Maywall coming out, blocking the entryway that it seems Plus Mafia really wants to take. They really want to get inside this small area, drop an Immortality field, and use a Maywall to section off at least a few members. Doesn't really seem to matter, though. Lynathan going to be hit by an Earth Shatter, as will a few other members of their team. And the cleanup going to be coming in from the side of Astray. They are looking so strong and so dominant on this fight so far in University.
Yeah, the mass of bodies there, all clumped up in the corner. It ultimately just kind of comes down to that shatter from Train Cloud to set up the fight win for Astray as they continue this hold. Now Mercedes gonna have a blizzard ready to go for this fight as Plus Mafia look to push in once again.
Yeah, Mercedes will not have anything to worry about in terms of eating that blizzard. The grab comes out, the Maywall sectioning off that Orisa aspect. Looks worse for the wear here, barely able to get away though. The blizzard will drop. It's going to be the Cryo Furies coming in from Tryhard, who is in a very uncomfortable and not admirable position. Earthshatter coming out from Nathan, not really going to be finding too much. Rory getting the kill on December will get them that Death Blossom. However, the teams were leveling out a little bit before Rory and Train Cloud just pushed through, used the Death Blossom, and got an absolute massive number of kills. There's questions about if the point can be contested here, Shy Guy.
I don't think it can be. It's going to take this Wrecking Ball to get in there, but they're going to try and stop Nathan from even touching the point. The body block is there. The Reaper barely touches.
Yeah, it's going to be at the very last moment, but it does leave them very staggered. Plus Mafia in a tough spot. They do take out Train Cloud, but the sound barrier will be there to keep most of the rest of the team alive. Some major kills need to start coming through, and it does not seem practical right now. We are seeing the stall come out from the tanks, but as the Wrecking Ball drops, Nathan, not long for this world either. And with that, the Diva drops, just going to be the Lucio doing his best to wall ride and stall out. Not going to be successful, though.
No, he won't, and it's gonna be Astray taking a commanding 2-0 lead in this series. They now seem like they are looking to give Plus Mafia a taste of their own medicine, perhaps sweep them down into the lower bracket, as they make a very excellent kind of adjustment here on Oasis. They lose out when it comes to the dive v dive on City Center, but change things up for the final 2 points and are able to come out on top.
Do you think that means here, Shy Guy, that we would want to see that if you're a fan of Plus Mafia, you want to see them progress through here? We need to see maps that are a little bit more dive friendly.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case, but the thing is, it is so hard to force that dive. It is not easy to do, and you saw what happened when they tried to run the dive into the meta composition. It did not work at all. So you really have to kind of pick and choose your spots. It works there on the open spaces of City Center where the high ground is very valuable. You can really get a lot of value out of those mobility abilities that the dive comp has. But most maps, I don't think it really works. Maybe if you take us somewhere like a Gibraltar or something, but it's going to be hard to force that.
Yeah, it certainly will be, and with the ban going in favor of Astray, you got to think that they saw kind of the game that Plus Mafia was operating on, and exactly as kind of expected here, the ban going to be going on to Gibraltar to start. meaning that it looks like Plus Mafia are going to be opting into Anubis instead. I like Anubis. We haven't seen it, at least if my memory is correct, this week yet. So I think it's going to be very interesting to see these two teams hop into it.
Yeah, for sure. I don't expect Plus Mafia to try and continue that dive approach here on Anubis, and I would kind of anticipate a pretty stock standard matchup here in terms of at least the hero picks. I don't think you're seeing anything out there, especially on the tank side of things. You might get, something like the Reaper could come back into play. You could still see the Mei Hanzo as well, but I don't think we're really pushing boundaries with our hero picks on this map.
The one exception I would say is that every once in a while we see a wily Junkrat come out on the first point of Anubis for defense. I'm really hoping that we'll see that at least for a little bit. I don't know if that's necessarily a tactic these teams have practiced. I can't speak to that, but you gotta like seeing it. At least I know I do.
Yeah, and the one other kind of I would say off meta a little bit pick right now that could make an appearance on Anubis, to me would be the Doomfist, especially as you get into point B. That you can really find some value there, but he just got some nerfs, and he already was not necessarily kind of the highest pick. He was viable for sure, and in the right hands can definitely make a huge impact, but it's going to be difficult to force that, and unless you've got yourself like a real Doomfist specialist, I wouldn't expect to see it.
Yeah, I tend to agree here. We will be seeing the swap in. It's going to be simplistic in for Scylla. So it's we're seeing kind of a triage of players here. It was one swap, A swapped in for B, B swapped in for C. Would not be surprised if we saw those swaps continue in that fashion. That means to me that they might want to run Skyward on Moira, because I did see Skyward running Moira quite a bit on Oasis.
Yeah, and I think maybe in part the reason Scylla was in there, they tried to run a bit of Pharah on both of these first two maps, and he was the Mercy in tow for that pick. So maybe that could be at least a part of this decision. If they don't think that the Pharah is going to be in play, then they don't really need their Mercy player to go alongside them. But we'll just have to see what those subs mean for the side of Plus Mafia as they try to embark on the reverse sweep here to avoid dropping down into the lower bracket.
Yeah, certainly going to have to be a little bit of broom action if they want to maintain themselves in this upper bracket, I should say. And it's certainly possible. We've seen them have some very strong games. It doesn't look like they're competing at or at least as against as weak enemies as they may have been before. I definitely think Astray is giving them a run for their money.
No, that's absolutely true. And so far Plus Mafia hasn't really been able to hang in this series. They showed some spunk there on Oasis with the win on City Center, but when things kind of get back to normal, it has been all Astray so far in this series, and I like what I'm seeing on the defense. Rory on that Widowmaker. I have seen this pick plenty of times in the past, and I know it is very, very deadly.
And it certainly can be a lot of options for some shield blockage, though, coming in. Rory getting pretty far up there, might just be looking to get, just looks like they're placing a little bit of a Venom Mine to try to get some early damage, some early scouting out as well. They're not going to be taking that high ground. We'll have to see how they play it as the teams roll out.
Yeah, he doesn't feel like he needs the protection of that high ground. Feels secure, fighting with the rest of his team right now, as the wall just going to buy Plus Mafia the entry in here, but I spoke too soon. Zimrit taken down.
Yeah, Zemrit getting pulled out of position by Crimson before Rory can even land the shot. The rest of the team follows up with a few quick kills. And right now it's looking like a slightly uncomfortable position for Plus Mafia. They're stuck in this little side room down one. Zemrit going to be responding with the Widowmaker swap as well, trying to counter snipe the sniper. Skyward gonna be taking down Train Cloud is a good opening for the offense. The immortality field dropping. Maywall coming in, gonna be blocking the Sigma and May from getting back with their team. At least it would have if they hadn't started killing the side of Astray. And right now it looks like Plus Mafia finally got a little bit of the shot in the arm they needed.
There we go. They come out with a little bit of life here on Anubis, and now they'll be able to roll into point B with a fantastic time bank at their disposal. Rory making the swap over from the Widow onto the other sniper, picking up Hanzo. Much more kind of works. The pick works much better in these close quarters of point B. You don't have the same sight lines to work with as Widow, so he'll just be going back to kind of the standard of what we've seen from him so far in this series.
Yeah, and you gotta hope that if you're a fan of that team, it's gonna work. And Rory, you're gonna make it work with getting double headshots off the back of that simple left-click bow action. The bow is such an effective weapon when applied directly to the temple of the forehead. And that being said, they're going to continue to push the immortality field going out from Skyward, but immediately taken down by a couple more Hanzo shots. And again, just the collapse onto the side of Plus Mafia going to prevent anybody from walking away from that fight.
Yeah, an excellent little flank coming through there from Mercedes. They didn't even really seem to spot him out as he came around on the right hand side and was able to get the freezes off to secure those cleanup kills. And now Astray pushing forward a little bit here, but will fall back to the point or fear of getting caught out by a Maywall.
Yeah, and there's going to be a few ultimates online. Speaking of some May abilities, Tryhard going to be having that Blizzard online as well. Mercedes on the high ground almost gets pulled off by Nathan, not quite able to find it. However, Zemrit getting brought quite low and closed upon by Rory as well. It looks like the rotation has finally gone through for Plus Mafia. They're going to be taking that left side offensive push, but they do know that they're down one Hanzo, so this is kind of an uncomfortable spot for them. Aspect gets tagged by that Discord orb. We'll have it off of them rather quickly. And with this, it looks like the defense, Astray, is just kind of biding their time. They don't need this fight to go rather quickly. They're happy to just burn time off from the offense. But as soon as they do engage Train Cloud, making it a double off the back, Nathan trying to be the forefront for their team, not quite able to prevent that damage from coming through, though.
The timing is just beautiful there from Astray. They wait pretty much as long as they can before Zemrit's going to be able to be back in the fight, and then they immediately take the 5v6. They drop that amp matrix and use it effectively to secure the kills, and that just buys so much time to get one pick and then kill the rest of the team right as he's respawning and rejoining the fight. It is just perfect.
Yeah, not to mention very good for that ultimate economy. Astray going to be leaning in with 5 ults in this next fight. We're going to be hearing 2 ults, 3 ults be used right at the initiation. A lot of that prevented, though, through the transcendence of Simplistic. Not going to be saving their other support, however, as Skyward does get their kneecaps ejected through their ears. Nathan going to be getting 1 kill onto Crimson, but it's not going to be enough as the cleanup surely comes through for the defense.
That was a little bit dicey there for the side of Astray. Mercedes getting caught out, but the rest of the team respond immediately. They see him out of position. They see the collapse coming through from Plus Mafia, and they're just immediately there with the resources. They can't bail him out, but they're able to capitalize on the commitment.
Yeah, now the ult economy's flipped a little bit. It's going to be the pocket of Plus Mafia having the more currency in it. And with this, they're now deciding to alternate a big rock accretion halt with an icicle on top to end the life of Rory. This is the opportunity that the offense was looking for. Plus Mafia really needs to make this happen. They're going to be dropping out a May Blizzard. It's going to be the Transcendence as well. Crimson gets focused down. And Train Cloud having every resource put into them, good and bad right now. The Transcendence, the Immortality Field, anything to keep them alive. The support's now going to be running for their literal lives as the point progress goes in favor of Plus Mafia. It's going to be Rory and Zemrit kind of having a Hanzo 1v1. Zemrit comes out the victor. The Wrecking Ball, meanwhile, comes back onto point, tries to lock it down, doesn't quite find any success. Mercedes on that Doomfist, coming in as they can to try to just get any stall, any kills with that big burst damage that Doomfist is so capable of doing. And now the stall is looking really aggressive from Astray. The longer they can stay on point, the better they can make their chances for the offense that they have to run. And right now, that's exactly what's happening. Switch playing so carefully to try to keep the Wrecking Ball alive. Not going to be enough, though.
It was just trying to buy time. There was Astray towards the tail end of that fight. As you mentioned, there were just so many resources available for Plus Mafia as they pushed in there. As soon as they get the opening pick, that is all they need to say, hey, we go right now. They commit to the fight and they secure 2 points here on Anubis, show a little bit of life on the attack here, but now they got to do it on the defense as well. They need to keep Astray off the board, or at least off of point B if they want to come away with the win. 128 in the time bank for Plus Mafia is a pretty solid time here on Anubis, all things considered.
Yeah, it's not going to be meager. They did spend a little bit of time on first point as well. So overall, a pretty fair pace, a pretty brisk pace, I would say, coming in, looking at it. But again, as we mentioned, it's going to be on Astray. Can they match that time? And Shy Guy, what do you think they have to do here to optimize their time as effectively as possible?
No, it really kind of comes down to one, getting through point A before the ultimates can come online for Plus Mafia. So finding kind of the dry fight to go in your favor is really important, and that really comes down to how you're using those cooldown abilities, how you are protecting your team. And it looks like we need to get a little bit of a pause in here as we did have a quick another disconnect here, this time on the side of Plus Mafia. Skyward dropping out for a little bit, and that is a little unfortunate right now because they were rolling out on the defense. The spawn door's about to open for Astray, so we'll just have to figure out what the solution is here.
Yeah, we're going to be looking to get this resolved as quick as possible. But either way, it's going to be kind of an expensive loss in the way of Skyward. Just losing that support either way, having them walk back, even if they're a very mobile support, allows you to kind of be a little bit more disjointed. The enemy can take advantage of that. And with that being said, I mean, you know, right now it's questionable. I mean, the teams are looking very even. I mean, it's looking like a mirror comp with the exception of Skyward, who is currently trying to get back into server. So just missing that one hero is enough to put you at an immediate disadvantage regardless of the compositions.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. For Plus Mafia, they need to do everything they can to just kind of buy time for Skyward to get back into the fight. He's gonna have to try to make his way out of spawn. He's going to be rolling out now, but Astray is on their way, and they have the Lucio in tow, so I think they're just going to try to speed into this fight as quickly as possible.
Yeah, it certainly seems to be what they're going for, but the Maywall's preventing them from going in through the side room. They kind of, the side of the defense knows exactly how they have to kind of prevent these rotations from coming in as quick as possible. And with that, Skyward able to kind of get themselves recollected back in. Going to be dropping that immortality field. However, it can't save Zemrit as they're focused down by Mercedes. And right now, the back foot is being had by Mafia. Not quite able to capitalize just yet. Almost get focused down by the Halt, the Sigma, and Skyward on that Baptiste too. But they're able to get bailed out by that Baptiste's healing burst. With that, now they're kind of stuck in this small side room. Maybe a little bit of a misplay to back that far up. Either way, the first take's going to go over in favor of Astray. Astray going to be using that immortality field for Train Cloud and Crimson. Zemrit taking down Rari, who wasn't quite in the realm of that immortality field either. And right now, suddenly, it looks like things are swinging slowly in favor of Plus Mafia. The Maywall coming up, building up just a little bit of stall, but Mercedes will not be long for this world.
Yeah, I mean, the way that Plus Mafia, they backed off, they back into that small room, and yes, it kind of made them fish in a barrel, but it also bought enough time for Zemrit to get back into the fight. Astray wasn't really prepared for it. They didn't seem to be aware of his presence until it was already too late.
Yeah, certainly seemed the case. Tryhard going to be taking an early Discord orb, but it will be their May counterpart who falls. It's going to be Mercedes taking a rock to the forehead by Aspect, courtesy of a Halt set up by Nathan. And right now, it looks like the side of Plus Mafia playing a pretty strong defensive game. They tried setting up another Accretion Halt combo, not quite able to find it. And right now they're just playing the poke game, trying to get that early damage in.
Anubis might just be their map as they're holding strong for the time being. They lose Simplistic to a Zenyatta barrage from Switch, so now the 5v6 once again in favor of Astray. Let's see if they can capitalize on it this time.
Yeah, and it's going to be the Dragons coming in, and a big split onto this team. The grab flux going to be coming in from the side of Traincloud, who goes up over the top, going to be catching just Aspect with that grab flux, but they will be saved once again by the Immortality Field. No eat onto the Blizzard from the side of Mercedes. Mercedes going to be freezing. Not anybody on point, actually, that May wall preventing line of sight from going on to the defending team. And Rari getting halted and then pulled in to the focus fire from Nathan. Right now, the May Blizzard also, once again, not landing on anything, this time from Tryhard. Simplistic has that Transcendence online. Not sure if they're going to quite be opting to use it in this fight. It certainly seems like they're stabling out. And right as the Superchargers dropped, it is going to be the Transcendence coming out from Simplistic. They're using it to get aggressive, get past this Orisa shield, but it's not going to be enough. As soon as it drops, both Skyward and Simplistic drop. It's not looking great for the defensive team. Traincloud so lit, but they're not going to be able to be closed upon. And with this, as soon as Nathan falls, it's going to be more and more progress for the side of Astray.
Yeah, they are able to get through point A, but now Plus Mafia gets to reset on the defense and bunker down for point B, and this is where the defender's advantage really comes into play. So it's going to have to be a convincing fight win for Astray to punch through here. They'll have both support ultimates as we prepare for this next engagement, but not a whole lot of firepower on either side.
Yeah, it certainly does not seem to be. Rory, however, is being enough firepower for the offense here, taking down a Zemret. That is a good opening for Astray. They're going to be committing the window and the Immortality Field rather early on. Traincloud then going to be closing down into Aspect, locking down that Sigma. It certainly seems like the 1v1s are being won wholesale here from Astray. And with that, the Orisa going to be in this side corner for the defense. The May as well dropping the Cryo Freeze, trying to just stay alive, not able to find any success though. Supercharger coming in from Nathan, a little bit curious as they are able to just be May walled off. The first tick is going to be given over to Astray, and right now this is not looking good for the side of Plus Mafia. They need to get some stall in here, but with very few people on point, the Tracer are going to be trying to come out, not quite finding much success, dashing and darting around on point. The May Cryo Freeze coming in, trying to just buy as much time as possible. Then we see the Wrecking Ball come online, this time from Aspect, trying to get in as much time, as much stall as possible, and it looks like it's being pretty successful. Not quite successful enough, as the round will complete with 2 minutes and 15 on the clock.
Yeah, and Rory really the one to once again break things wide open for his team. He gets the opening pick in this fight, then he kind of almost 2v1s. He had a little bit of help from Switch, but is able to deal with both Zemret and Simplistic on the other side. So a really excellent individual play coming through from Rory to help break his help his team break through here on Anubis. They take the advantage in terms of time bank into round 2.
Yeah, certainly is the case. Time bank advantage will be had for Astray, meaning that they will be on the defense, and Zemret in the offensive spawn room. Certainly not by any means set in stone, but lining up on that Widow, I anticipate we'll be seeing a swap here. Maybe if they can't find a first pick or so, you usually don't see that Widow stick around for too long.
Yeah, I mean, he did play it last time, but that was kind of as an answer to Rory on the Widow of his own. Rory, of course, giving up on that attempt here. The Hanzo has been much more successful for him so far tonight, so he really wants to stick with that pick. He's landing his shots beautifully this evening, and we'll see if he can continue it on the defense for Astray.
That is certainly going to be the question. The gates will open up. Plus Mafia lining up again for another push. They're going to be looking to set up on that left side, setting up the May wall to immediately just walk into that side room. They're going to be using both the cooldown of the Immortality Field and the May wall to get moving. And with that, Zemret kind of trying to take some Hanzo peeks, trying to get some sonar arrows out, see how the team is arranged for the defense. And with that being said, we're going to be seeing these teams kind of go nose to nose with this Orisa and Sigma shields. The May wall coming in, making things very uncomfortable for the side of Astray. However, nobody does drop despite a very powerful Mei wall coming in, separating a large amount of the team. And once again, the Sigma is separated, but the capitalization not quite there immediately. Instead, the capitalization will be on to Crimson, who gets focused down by Nathan. And now it's looking like Plus Mafia is starting to push through this choke. They're really going to be taking advantage, pushing it to point. They maintain this high ground, however, and actually drop back a little bit just to focus down Train Cloud. The immortality field does come down, although it does get taken and removed from this map. And with that, we're seeing the team push forward onto point with just a few members to contest from Astray.
They're not really going to be able to make any attempt at this one. The supports will just fall back. Mercedes kind of just needs to die at this point, rejoin his team instead of trying to fight this one out. Will do so as now Astray going to have to try and make it work on point B. Only 30 seconds available for Plus Mafia, so one push has to be the answer. They don't have any ultimates online just yet, though several are within reach.
Yeah, this fight has to happen very soon. However, 10 seconds left before the point goes into overtime. The immortality field going to come out, try to save Aspect, doesn't quite land. However, Aspect gets taken down from the dragons from Rory. The grab flux coming online, and with this, it does not look optimistic for the side of Plus Mafia. Only Nathan on point, as well as the Mei, both trying to survive as long as they can, but it will not be enough. Rory just there to answer them with a couple of arrows to the body. And with that, the overtime timer will tick down. No progress made on second point.
Yeah, unfortunately for Plus Mafia there, when you are the attackers, even when you win that first fight, you usually aren't really coming out on top in terms of the ultimate charge. The poke damage from the defenders just going to kind of outpace you in that regard. And it's exactly what happens. You know, 3 ultimates available for Astray to drop into that fight, and there was really no coming back from that deficit.
I mean, you're exactly right. It's so difficult to get that back. But now the shoe will be on the proverbial other foot, as I believe it will be Astray's turn to go up on the offense. And as we look at the comps rolling out here, Plus Mafia still going with the Hanzo instead of the Widowmaker. It seems like they are not opting for that route anymore.
Yeah, and you know, an interesting thing to remember, you know, Astray did have a little bit of trouble on point A when it came to their attack round, where they really kind of distinguished themselves with being able to deal with point B rather quickly. So if Plus Mafia are able to repeat that performance, we could very well be looking at a full hold here on Anubis, and you know, pushing us to a map 4. But Astray going to be doing their damnedest to try and make sure that does not happen.
Yeah, already it looks like Zemrit going to be trying to get some early damage into an Orisa barrier from on high. Not going to be finding too much success, too much purchase as we move along. Again, we're seeing the standard left-hand push coming in from the offense. The Maywall from Tryhard going to be blocking the entrance, though. Nobody really getting focused down by that Accretion Rock, but Zemrit going to be cleaning up with a couple of Storm Arrows. Coming in, striking switch as they get halted up into the air. And once again, we're in the situation where Astray is now stuck in this little side room area, and they definitely seem a little bit uncomfortable here.
Yeah, Plus Mafia has been fantastic at just finding one pick as their opponents make their way through that choke point. So we'll see if they can keep up the momentum here.
Yeah, Aspect going to get brought dangerously low, will be healed up by Skyward and the Immortality Field. Mercedes taking it down, however, making sure it does not stick around for too long. Rory taking down Tryhard. That is a great opportunity for the offense here. They certainly seem like they have the vigor to make it happen. As the kills continue to flow, it's just going to be a few members stuck in this side room, a very rough spot, a hard spot to fight out of, and indeed they will not. They will certainly be buried there with a minute left on the clock as the point flips.
Yeah, worst case scenario now for Astray is the tie here on Anubis as they even up the score, and now they'll have a couple of good attempts to try and push in onto point B. A single tick is all it takes to end this series, and you know, we'll see what they can do. They'll be pushing into the Amp Matrix from Skyward, but that is all that is available for Plus Mafia.
Yeah, it's going to be a very tough defense. We'll have to see how they choose to circumnavigate that. but Crimson going to be dropping the barrier right down in the center, using a halt, pulling a lot of people in. The Immortality Field coming out, Switch taking down Aspect. Things are immediately not looking good for the side of Plus Mafia. However, Skyward able to claim back some vigor with that Baptiste. However, they do get taken down by Trinkos. Tryhard dangerously low, eventually collapsed upon and destroyed. And with that, the Supercharger going online, the Grab Flux going into the air. It is all over, but the crying, it seems, so far for the side of Plus Mafia. They need to make something big happen, and it just hasn't happened yet.
Now, and with that Supercharger out from Crimson, the stall is going to be insanely difficult. The 2 tanks are in play here, but Nathan falls immediately. Aspect not going to be able to make it back to the point, and the Astray close out the 3-0 sweep here tonight. They punch their ticket into the upper bracket final.
Yeah, overall, some pleasant play coming through from Astray. Plus Mafia just seems to be a little bit short on all of these maps. Not quite able to earn the sweet taste of success. However, they are not knocked out. They will still be with us in the lower bracket.
Indeed they will, and they'll have their opportunity for redemption as we move into the later rounds of this tournament. But this does set up our upper bracket final. It's going to be Astray taking on Citizens, and boy, is that going to be one for the ages.
It certainly will be. Now remember, folks, we do have a few minutes before we bring our next interviewee in. So let us know who you want to hear from most. The MVP of the match will be brought in. So make sure you throw your votes down below if you haven't already.
Yeah, for sure. And, as we've been talking about all night, if you like what we are doing here at Star Esports, be sure to join us on all those social media platforms. You know, the Twitch where you're watching right now, but we're on Twitter, we're on YouTube, and you can always find us in the Discord. Come join our community. We are now accepting signups for the next All-Star Brawl, number 5, coming your way next month, and you can be a part of it. If you have a team in the Tier 3 community, we would love to have you.
Yeah, absolutely. Love seeing our community grow. We love hanging out with all new people. I know I've met a ton of cool players throughout my casting experience here at the Overwatch All-Stars Brawl. So why not come in, take the opportunity, maybe make a few new friends and new acquaintances, some new contacts, if that's your game. Either way, we'd love to see you guys on all of our social media. Now, Shy Guy, I like asking this to all my co-casters, so I'm going to ask again. Who do you think was MVP worthy this game around?
If I'm picking, it really has to be Rory, I think, for the side of Astray. The dude's Hanzo was cracked tonight. He was just, every shot seemed to be landing, and he was always kind of the person finding those opening picks for his team. And that is so impactful. And what really impressed me is he was doing it a lot of times without a ton of kind of resources put in from the rest of the team. A lot of times we see teams, pair up kind of their Sigma and their Hanzo player to go take an off angle. Roy was able to do it a lot of times, either by just playing with his team or by doing it on his own, by finding the right timing to catch Plus Mafia off guard. And he really had a massive impact on this series.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking kind of along the similar lines. We saw Rory's name pop up a lot in the kill feed, and sometimes the kill feed's not the only thing that you can determine who's the most impactful player, but it certainly is beneficial sometimes, engaging at least DPS effectiveness or cleanup, things of that nature. And right now, it looks like we do have our MVP notice, or our MVP winner, ready to come into the channel with us here in just a moment. It's actually going to be Nathan hopping in just a moment. And Shy Guy, I think that's a pretty good option. Plus Mafia, I'm kind of curious to hear their take on things as well.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's always interesting to kind of see from the other side of things, on the losing side of a series, how is the attitude coming out of it? What are the takeaways from a series like this, where Astray really did kind of dominate from start to finish? So how is Plus Mafia going to be taking the defeat, and what kind of lessons are they looking to take away from this evening?
Absolutely. And as we talk about him, he shall come into the chat. Nathan, how are you feeling after that game versus Astray?
A little disappointed, not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
We had some good maps but we couldn't like clutch it in the end.
I think that's very natural. You know, when you have those kinds of situations, those losses. I mean, it certainly seemed like it was hard fought from you guys. It just didn't go your way this time. Do you think there's any lessons you or your team will be able to kind of take away moving forward to help yourselves in the losers bracket?
Yeah, just like how we use our aggression. Like sometimes we weren't going as aggressive as we wanted to, and sometimes we were being way more passive, like super passive, and they were just getting so much space. So we need to fix that before we can like improve.
All right. I want to ask you, from our perspective, it seemed like kind of the most success that you guys had all series was there on Oasis when you were able to go over into kind of that divier composition. Is that something that your team is really comfortable with, that you would like to be able to do more of, but the meta just doesn't necessarily like allow it?
Kind of like we play kind of split, so when we all like focus on the target, it's easier for us to communicate instead of like the double shield where you have to play for walls and you have to play like angles and stuff. So I think the dive fits our playstyle more, but I think we can improve on the double shield. It's just that dive fits our playstyle more right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'll go ahead and kind of lighten this up a little bit. I know you're just coming off an intense game, so I don't want to overload you or anything. But a question I like asking is if you can play any character, I guess in this case tank, in Overwatch without having to worry about meta effectiveness. Which do you find the most fun to play overall?
Ooh, that's a close. It's either Ryan or Ball, because Ryan, I love hitting people with hammers, and I love the swinging. I love Ball. I just love his movement. It's probably one of the most fun things for me is just the ball movement.
Yeah, I certainly don't disagree. Ball, a great character. I think those are both fairly good choices myself. Shy Guy, you got anything else?
I'll just give you the floor here to kind of say a few words to your fans at home, the people who voted you MVP here tonight, or give shout outs to anyone behind the scenes for Plus Mafia. You've got a little bit of time here to say your spiel.
Okay, I'd like to thank the coaches for coaching us, my teammates for giving it all they got this match. Like to thank our fans, and I would also like to thank Beaver Fever for showing me ball techniques.
Fantastic. Well, Nathan, thank you once again for hopping in here and answering a few of our questions. It was so greatly appreciated.
All right, thank you.
And congratulations on the MVP. We look forward to seeing you guys in the lower bracket as you move through the tournament.
All right, thank you. Have a nice one.
You too. And with that, Shy Guy, we are about ready to wrap it up. Do you want to go ahead and do the honors of signing off?
Yeah, for sure. It's been an absolute pleasure bringing you all at home these wonderful games here tonight. Thank you so much for joining us. And once again, before we go, I have been Shy Guy. You can find me on Twitter at ShyGuyOW. I actually have a pretty big announcement coming in the next couple of days, so keep your eye emojis ready and on the lookout for that one.
Keep your eyes peeled, and likewise, you can find me on Twitter or Twitch at Sir Waltham, where I will have an equally insignificant announcement that is actually non-existent coming out real soon. So definitely don't even bother looking for that, because it's not going to happen. But catch me there. From all of us here at the Overwatch All-Stars Brawl, we want to thank you guys for tuning in with us. We hope you guys have a great night and stay safe out there, everybody. Yay, 2,000 followers.